y'all, and welcome to the newest episode of Beer Betties. I'm Senia.
And I'm Whitney.
And this morning we have the wonderful privilege of being out at the Franconia Brewing Company, as you can see, here in McKinney, Texas, which is not too far from us. And we have the wonderful privilege of following the great men that brew this wonderful beer.
Well, we're actually very excited about this because not only is it a great beer, but it's also a Texas beer. So you know how us Texans love anything from Texas. Well, not only is this a Texan beer, but it is actually a great product, and they're actually very green about the way they do things as well, which is talk about during the show. And so follow us out. Let's see what they have to offer.
Whitney and I looked around the brewery and learned a few things while we waited to talk to the mastermind behind this delicious brew, Dennis Weirman. We were not short of reading material, as Dennis is a very well-liked figure in his local town of McKinney. We are sitting here with Dennis Weirman, who is the owner and brewmaster. Hi, Dennis.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much for giving us a chance to have a tour of your brewery and to check everything out. But please, can you tell us a little bit of how you got started?
Well, overall, I got started in my family's brewing beer since 1800, so I was pretty much born into it. I didn't have a chance to do anything else. So without beer, I would be lost in many, many different ways, so that's for sure. In summer of '03, I moved straight from Germany over here to DFW. Worked as corporate brewmaster for a local brew pub chain at that time. And then in '08, I opened up Franconia Brewing Company to pretty much brew some good German beer for the North Texas people.
Now, one thing we did notice, I know we had talked to you about earlier, is that you held very high standards as far as going green. Especially with with the use of no beer bottles, you prefer kegs, and I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that.
When I grew up in Germany, or when my main time was working at the brewery in Germany, which was late '80s, beginning '90s, there was a really huge movement on green practicing or environmentally friendly. I don't really like that slogan, being green. I worked for a brewery called Neumarkt der Lamsbräu. They have been the first brewery worldwide. They started those practices, and they brewed the beer completely the organic way. They changed everything in their company, and they did a lot of things. I mean, today that brewery is just amazing what they're doing on environmentally friendly, saving energy, and having really, really good high standards about it. I like to do a little bit or reflect some of that here at Franconia Brewing Company. Yeah, I mean, bottles right now at this moment is definitely a part of it. That's why we don't bottle our beer at the moment. We are working on it for who everybody sees this YouTube video. Please be aware of there's a big chance that there will be bottles, Franconia beer bottles on the market. We're thinking a little bit a different concept about it, but yeah, absolutely.
What are your seasonals that you're coming out with? So can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, our 4 standard beers is a German or more a Franconian style lager, deep golden in color, more malt sweetness to it, not really hoppy or dry. It's a little bit on the sweeter side. We have our dark lager, the Dunkel. Then we have our wheat beer. Yeah, that is actually a really interesting beer, really flavorful. You get a lot of banana, orange, and a little bit clove spice in it. Yeah. So it's really interesting. Please remember, only those 4 ingredients. We don't use anything else. Then we have our seasonal beers. The most popular and, for me, my favorite seasonal beer is Oktoberfest. So gotta have that as a German brewer, I guess. We have a Fallenbach, which is a dark Bock beer. It's a lager as well. It's really nice, nicely balanced, I think. Then we have a winter wheat during the winter time. I think that was your favorite, you said, the Doppelweizen. It's a dark wheat Doppelbock. So that's our strongest beer with a little bit over 9% alcohol by volume.
Figure. That's,
So then we have a Pilsner beer, early spring. Right now, because it's May, what do you need to have in May in Germany? You need to have a Maybach to celebrate springtime. We do our Crystalweizen, which is a filtered version of the wheat beer.
Oh, okay.
And every year we do something fun for the guys, so that we can do a little bit different things. This year we decided, actually end of last year we already decided, we did some serious research on it. We decided to do an alt beer. So we will brew an alt beer probably midsummer, just to do something out of the ordinary again.
Fun.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I'm actually flying to Germany June 1st to do some more research on alt beers, and I can't wait to go. So.
Research.
That sounds like the best research ever.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, that's pretty much about our portfolio at this moment.
That's great.
And I'm sure there's more exciting stuff coming.
Well, I've had a few of those that you've mentioned, and they are all delicious. I'm not going to lie.
Very good.
But anyways, Dennis, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
No, we're really happy you guys are out here. I've seen most of your videos already, and please have fun out there with the guys, and
Will do.
We will.
and make sure they feed you some good beer in between, okay?
Okay.
Oh,
We will.
thirsty
We
now.
will.
We talked about it. So.
Beer breakfast.
All right.
Senia and I were very excited when we learned that we would not only be learning about the beer making process, but we would be trying some of our favorite brews. Hey, beer
We are happy little girls right now.
I get a beer breakfast again.
Beer breakfast. Happy dance. Our first guide was Cam Horn, a true beer nerd.
2 big vessels. That one's kind of 2 pieces, and this is 1 piece. That we call the combi. On the top is the mash tun, and on the bottom is the hot liquor tank. The hot liquor tank is where we keep all of our hot water that we use for the entire brewing process.
Okay.
And the mash tun is kind of where the brewing process, it's like the second step. The first step, it all starts out, is the whole grains, and that's what's in that room right there, the bags of grain. We mill it, and it all ends up going into that thing with hot water. Different temperatures determine how dry or how sweet your beer is going to be in the end. And we fill that thing with the grain and hot water, let it sit for about an hour, and that's going to turn all the starch in the grain into sugar, which later the yeast will eat to turn into alcohol and CO2, and that's what you get in your beer. I've already had that filled for about an hour. We've got rakes inside it that's spinning around and keep everything mixed up real well. I stopped the rakes. I'm gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna settle down, and then I'm gonna start draining it into our kettle here.
Okay.
And this is our brew kettle. This is where, when you think of brewing, this is where the actual brewing happens. This is where the beer gets boiled. This is where the hops get added.
So that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, this is where it becomes what it'll be in the end.
After hanging out with Cam for a little while, we were truly impressed by his passion for beer. After leaving him to work on his newest batch of brew, we had our butts frozen off by Justin Walters, who took us into the cooler and taught us the correct way to fill a keg.
You need to make sure that the keg is all the way full.
Okay.
Just like whenever you get a beer out of the tap,
Yeah.
it's no different. You got a big amount of foam and a lot of head on the top. So if there's still air coming out, it's not all the way full.
Okay.
So I'll let that fill up. And then all I do is I just wash, rinse, repeat, and do this many times. Now, based upon what our customers order, we have full kegs, slim kegs, Franco kegs. And then based upon what they order, that's what I fill. So I'll hold this down until I see a steady stream of beer flowing out, and that's when I know the keg is full.
All right.
If we don't do this, once the foam settles,
Yeah.
it'll be all sloshy and not full, and
Gotcha.
then we had somebody, pay for a full keg of beer that didn't get a full keg of beer.
Gotcha.
People tend to get upset.
Yeah, I would too, I guess.
Yeah.
Justin also taught us how to use the nifty keg cleaning machine.
Basically what happens is we pick up all of our empties from all of our clients. We bring them here, and we can't just put beer back in them because they may have bacteria, they may have excess beer, and whatever else. So what we do is we put them on the keg washer. This is much easier than the way they used to have to do it, which is fill it with water, shake it, dump it out. Fill it with cleaning solution, shake it, dump it out. Fill it with water to rinse all the cleaning solution out and dump it out. So this is much nicer. It's automated. It takes about 5 minutes per keg. And then all you do is based upon whichever one you need next, grab that style of keg, hook it up, just like you would setting a tap in any bar. Close it up, just turn it over so that way it all drains out, push start.
Very cool.
And that's it. Basically what it does is it purges all the excess beer out
Yeah.
initially, fills it up with water, rinses it out, fills it up with caustic solution, the sanitizing cleaning solution,
Yeah.
cleans all that out, rinses it out, and then it's clean. And then I can fill it with whatever I want. I know it's sanitized, I know it's bacteria free, and it's not gonna...
And it's easier.
And it's much easier, much easier. Yeah, it's a lot easier for me.
Finally, it was time for our beer breakfast. Now this is straight out. I know they said at Harpoon it was straight out of the cake tap, but this is straight out. Literally. It's like right out of the cow, right?
Whitney was having a very difficult time being patient for the foam to go down on her dunkel. So we're still here at the Franconia Brewery, and
Say that as if it's a bad thing.
I know, it's not a bad thing. We are so excited to be here. Everyone has been just absolutely great. Now, we are trying some straight out of the, what did they call those? I'm sorry.
It would technically be like the tanks that they hold.
Yeah,
them in.
straight out of the tanks.
Yeah.
Beer. We've got the blonde here, we've got the Franconia wheat, and then we have the Franconia dunkel. So we're going to go ahead and try all 3 of these.
I'm so excited. It's so fresh. This is very exciting.
Oh, wow. It's delicious. Oh my God.
goodness.
That is, it's got a very citrusy, no, not citrusy.
No,
it's
it's not
almost
citrus.
like a, kind of like almost like a coriander taste.
Coriander, and it's a teensy bit, like a little bit bready, but not like overwhelmingly so. Just has like this really nice kind of matted texture at the end of it. It's very, very good and very fresh.
Oh,
This is awesome.
delicious.
Well, and the cool thing about Franconia is they don't use any preservatives. They don't ferment. They don't use any kind of pasteurization, and everything is unfiltered. So it's just
Straight.
home goodness.
And now the Franconia wheat, which, not gonna lie, I'm kind of biased. It's a little bit of my favorite. Oh my God, sorry. I'm like not wanting to let go of the glass. It's, oh,
Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
Wow.
Any-
got that banana
anyways,
and coriander.
yeah, it definitely has that banana flavor to it. That's delicious.
And now, Dunkel, my favorite. One of my favorites.
Get over here.
It's amazing.
Beep, sorry.
That is my favorite by far. I love that.
It's chocolatey. It has,
Teensy bit of like a coffee in there. as
yeah,
well.
very a smoky flavor.
But it's not heavy like a porter or anything. It's it's got that good Dunkel.
It's
flavor. You
incredibly
get the flavor.
creamy. We can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, you get that flavor, but it's not too heavy at the same time. It's just like the perfect kind of Dunkel, where it's that dark, yummy flavor without too much of the heavy side that you get in a porter or a stout. So awesome, and it's
This is-
right out of
All 3 of them, highly recommended if you can find them. Obviously, like he said earlier, they do have them at some Humperdinks.
Mm-hmm.
They have them at Anvil Pub.
Where else? We do
Capital.
offer them at the Gaylord Texan.
We
as
do
well.
offer them at the Gaylord Texan. They're just go to their website. I'm sure they have a list. If not, just contact your local beer nerd area and find out if they serve Franconia
And if they
of
don't,
any kind.
beg them to go get it, because
Abs-
that's the way you get
It
beer
is
in your
absolutely-
area. Is
it
you
is-
demand it.
It is absolutely worth it. So, cheers.
Cheers.